Picture this. It's Saturday morning. You're awake at 7 a.m., not because of an alarm, not because of work, because your dog needs his specific breakfast, the one with the pumpkin puree, the one you researched for 40 minutes. You celebrate his birthday. You talk to him like a small, opinionated roommate. You've said the sentence, "Sorry, I can't stay late. My cat will worry." And somewhere in the back of your mind, there's a voice going, "Is this weird?" Because society has opinions, lots of them. But here's the thing. Science has been quietly watching you this whole time, and it's not laughing. Let's be honest. When people see you treating your pet like a child, they don't think, "Ah yes, a well-regulated nervous system." They think, "They're lonely, they're projecting, they're replacing human relationships," or my personal favorite, "That's not a real baby." There's this unspoken assumption that loving an animal deeply must mean something is missing in your life, that you're compensating, that you're immature, that you've anthropomorphized your way into emotional delusion. But science says that interpretation is lazy and mostly wrong. Let's break this down properly. Here's something most people don't realize. Humans don't have a single parenting instinct. We have a caregiving system. It's a neurobiological network designed to activate when we perceive vulnerability, dependency, and emotional responsiveness. Babies trigger it. So do pets. A landmark 2016 study from the University at Buffalo found that people derive genuine emotional resilience from pets, often buffering stress just as effectively as close human relationships. Not replacing them, buffering stress. Why? Because caring for another being activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for emotional regulation, long-term planning, and impulse control. In other words, your brain isn't regressing, it's practicing stability. Now, let's talk chemistry. Oxytocin gets called the love hormone, but it's really the bonding and trust hormone. In 2015, Japanese researcher Miho Nagasawa published a study showing that when dogs and humans make eye contact, oxytocin levels rise in both, the same feedback loop seen between parents and infants. Same hormone, same loop, different species. Your brain doesn't go, "Sorry, wrong mammal." It goes, "This being responds to me. Bond confirmed." That bond reduces cortisol, improves immune response, and increases feelings of safety. Which brings us to something important. You likely have high emotional attunement. People who treat pets like children tend to score higher in empathy, emotional sensitivity, and attunement to nonverbal cues. You're reading body language, micro-behaviors, energy shifts. That's not childish. That's neurologically expensive. In fact, research on highly sensitive people, HSPs, shows increased activity in brain regions related to empathy and awareness, especially the insula and anterior cingulate cortex. Translation: you notice things others miss, which is why you don't see your pet as just an animal. You see a subjective experience, and once your brain recognizes that, it can't unsee it. Here's a spicy one. People love to assume you love your pet because humans let you down. Sometimes, sure, but often the opposite is true. People with secure attachment styles are actually more capable of forming deep cross-species bonds. Why? Because secure attachment isn't about dependency. It's about consistent responsiveness. Pets provide predictable emotional feedback, clear boundaries, and low social deception. Your nervous system relaxes around them, not because you're avoiding humans, but because your locus of control is internal. You don't need validation games. You don't need social performance. You just show up. They respond. Bond maintained. So here's the reframe. Treating your pet like your child isn't a sign of emotional immaturity. It's a sign that your caregiving system is active, your empathy threshold is high, and your nervous system values consistency over status. You form bonds based on responsiveness, not social rules. In evolutionary terms, that's not weakness, that's adaptive intelligence. You're wired to protect, nurture, and regulate without needing social applause, which is ironically exactly what emotionally mature adults do. So no, you're not weird for throwing your dog a birthday party. You're not broken for calling your cat your baby. You're not behind in life because your love doesn't look traditional. You just found a bond that speaks your brain's language. And your brain said, yes, this feels right. Question for you. Do you feel more emotionally understood by your pet than by most people? And when did you first notice that? Let's talk about it.